Hello, hello, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be cooking recipes from the Redwall cookbook, and I'm going to put my own little spin on it. Some of the recipes, like the hot root soup, for example, that the otters ate in the books, the recipe from the cookbook doesn't really live up to my imagination and what I pictured when I was reading the book. Because in the book, everything is described so deliciously. Some of the lore surrounding the Redwall books is that the author actually wrote the books for blind school children. His vivid descriptions of the food and the daily life in Redwall Abbey are so descriptive that it really makes your mouth water just reading it. So today I'm going to make my own version of hot root soup. Now the original recipe I actually found on Tumblr. Shout out to the early 2000s. And this recipe is a little bit lackluster. First of all, there's no actual roots in this recipe. There's potatoes, but potatoes are actually technically tubers and they're not a root vegetable after some quick Googling. So I want to add actual roots to this recipe. Secondly, it's hot root soup. I pictured it being like a little bit spicy. There's some curry powder in the recipe, but it doesn't seem that spicy and it just seems a little bit plain. So I'm also going to be upping the spice level, and don't worry, it's not going to be too spicy if you also want to follow this recipe. I can handle and tolerate a little bit of spice, but it won't be that spicy. Okay, so let's start the cooking. Today I'm also filming a TikTok of me cooking this recipe, doing the exact same thing, but I thought I'd do an in-depth YouTube of cooking these Redwall recipes, and maybe I'll make it into a series. Okay, so let me take you through what we're working with here. So first of all, this is called a nagaimo. It's a Japanese root vegetable, and it kind of reminds me of a hairy leg. And this is a turnip. I also got that at the Asian grocery store. And then we also have some leeks and green onions, which the recipe did originally call for leeks, as well as an onion. Actually, this is just a snack. I was gonna have a tangerine. And then the way I'm adding heat to this recipe is through paprika, as well as hot red pepper flakes. The first step is to get a big old soup pot. What? Okay, now that you've got your pot, I'm going to start adding the butter, and I want to read to you the recipe because I find it quite cute, this little description. It says, shrimp and hot root soup, the signature soup of otters far and wide. This recipe is rather mild for creatures like myself that aren't partial to hot food. How cute. So that's the recipe we're going to be following today, and I'll be adding my own twist as well. Wait, dicing or what? Chopped, okay. Oops, man down, man down. That's okay. We can rinse it and put it right back. Let's give that a nice chop. Ooh, I'm gonna cry. It says chopped onions, but like, I don't know about you, but I like my onions a little bit more diced, especially in a soup. Can you hear me chopping? Let me get my mic really close. If so, I hope that you can, because it's kind of an ASMR video all of a sudden. Oh my gosh, I've been obsessed with those fruit glass cutting ASMR videos. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about. They're like AI generated, but it's like the first good use of AI, I think. It's been put to use in a good way, in a positive way, that benefits humanity. So if you haven't checked that out, I highly recommend it. Just search glass cutting ASMR videos on TikTok, and they should pop up. It's so funny because people are commenting in, oops, I dropped another onion. Anyway, it's so funny. People are commenting, like prompting the person making the glass cutting videos, like, can you do like a pomegranate with seahorses in the ocean bubbling out? And that was a real request, by the way. And it's just hilarious because they're like prompting someone to prompt ChatGPT and AI to create that. This is what I do when I'm chopping things on my cutting board. Move over, buddy. We got leeks to do. So I don't know if you clicked on this video, so you're probably a big Redwall fan. I haven't read it since I was a kid, to be honest. I thought that I had read a lot of them, like 6 or 7 maybe. But then now that I'm sort of getting into Redwall again, I'm finding that I had not read, oops, I lost one. There's a lot that I have not read of the series, so I'm thinking about doing a reread soon. I'm finding that there's a lot of people who are interested in a Redwall reread, so if you were one of those people, let me know. I'm thinking about making a book club or something for Redwall fans. It's time to put these bad boys in the pot. Where's my spoon? Oh my gosh, it smells so good already. I love the smell of onions and leeks and green onions and any kind of onion really. And the smell of that with butter. Chef's kiss. And now that those are cooking for 5 minutes, I'm gonna move on to my nagaimo and turnip root vegetables. And you know, now that I'm thinking about it, because root vegetables and potatoes, which the original recipe called for, take so long to cook, this recipe would be better served in an Instant Pot. Probably just gonna do about like this much. Well, the recipe calls for 3 potatoes. So maybe like this much? What is 3 potatoes in turnip form? The question of the day. Okay, I'm going to peel my veggies. Now I will probably do a little time lapse through this. One thing I will tell you is that these hairy legs, the nagaimo, they get really slippery, like underneath the skin. They're like very slimy vegetables, but don't be put off. They are delicious. Okay, we're gonna try a little transition. Ready? My hands are too slippery to snap. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! No, like that wasn't magic. 10 minutes have passed, I swear. That's called a time lapse. Okay, so now we are to add 1.5 cups of veggie stock. One of my little tricks, if you will, is instead of buying stock, which can be kind of expensive, I actually buy bouillon or veggie bouillon from like Costco. I just add water with it. I just kind of add, get off of there. I just kind of add whatever feels right. Oh, and one thing is this gets like airtight locked for some reason. So I always put my lid on in the fridge, like half on, like not totally sealed. Just a little tip for you. And then these are some really cute cups that I got from Anthropology. They're actually measuring cups. It has little like writing on here. It's so cute. So now I'm adding my curry, my paprika, and a little bit of spicy red pepper flakes. Give it a good stir. And then we have to wait for 15 to 20 minutes. While we wait for the soup, I figured this would be a good time to come on and talk about Redwall. This was one of my favorite book series when I was a kid. It definitely had to do with the fact that I was obsessed with rodents. So I had many hamsters growing up as pets. We also had a guinea pig. And then I did also have a hedgehog. So I can definitely say that I'm a rodent obsessed person, or at least highly interested in them. So I loved books like Redwall that had sword fighting mice and rats. And I don't know, there was something so special about the food in particular and the descriptions. And I just remember being so hungry when I was reading. In between the battle scenes and watching for enemies up on the hill for a super long amount of time, between all the action scenes, there were these beautiful descriptions of food. Speaking of turnips, I remember there being some kind of turnip pie or something. If you remember what I'm talking about, comment it down below. I'm gonna do a search and maybe I can use the rest of this turnip. And I've been trying to think of books that are similar, and a couple of you have pointed out Mouse Guard to me, which is a comic book and also a game. It seems like there's a lot of crossover between Redwall fans and this woodland sword fighting type of aesthetic with games, online games as well as board games. It seems like those two things go hand in hand. I've come across like 4 or 5 different woodland games. I'll put a couple of them up here. And then obviously there are the Guardians of Ga'Hoole, which I've seen the movie, I have not read the books. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And then I loved other hamster books. So there was a book called I, Houdini about an escape artist hamster, and I always loved that as a kid because my hamsters would escape all the time. We found one actually once in our wall of my parents' bedroom. They heard scritching in the night and my hamster had been escaped for maybe a couple days at that point. We had given up hope on him, but then they actually opened up the wall. I think they had a handyman come over or something. I don't know if my parents themselves opened the wall, but they opened the wall. Turns out Peanut, my hamster, had been in the wall, and he started out as a golden long-haired hamster. When we pulled him from the wall, he was dark black. So I loved I, Houdini, and it really speaks to the mischief and fun and whimsy that I loved about hamsters. And then of course there's Miss Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, in a similar vein to Redwall, and that one's centered all around the rats, which personally I love because although I never had a rat as a pet, my best friend Emma growing up had multiple rats, and I love them. They're so smart. They're almost like a dog. Like when you walk into the room, the rats will be up on the bar, excited to play with you. It's like they're a little puppy, and they're super cute. There are also the Warriors books that I believe are about cats. And those came out probably in the last like 10 years. Redwall has been out for quite a while, but I just love books in this vein of like talking animal, anthropomorphic, fantasy, mouse and rats types books. That was really long. That's probably not what it is. Anthropomorphic fantasy books. That's the genre that I really like. You heard it here first. I'm actually writing a book right now that definitely falls under this vein. And yesterday I completed the first draft of this book. Woo! Okay, the soup is almost done, so let's get back to cooking. I Dysoned my hair today, and can I just say, I think it looks pretty cute. I'm not very good at my Dyson Airwrap yet, but if you watched my 6-month to change my life video, you will know that my hair is one of the journeys I'm on to change in the next 6 months, and just styling my hair better, getting it healthier, and today it's feeling good, so I'm quite happy with it. And the recipe calls for shrimp, so I'm adding that now. And then the recipe does call for milk. I decided to go ahead and add half and half because I feel like it'll make it a little bit creamier. So let's give that a stir. So this looks really good. It's very curry powder heavy. So I think what I'm gonna do is add some of this lao gan ma. Fun fact, lao gan ma means old dry mom in Mandarin. And I don't know why that it's called that, but if you do the direct translation, that's what it means. I'm making this more Asian flavored, but I'm okay with it. That's what I imagine hot root soup looking like. This looks like molten lava, which going back to the ASMR videos with the glass cutting, that is another thing that has been really in, like lava coming out of fruit, like glass fruit. Okay, it makes sense once you actually see them. Honestly, tastes so good. These are all just like hot roots, like it's hot root soup. I mean, that's what I said I was going to make. So if you just like mix it up a little bit, I mean, yeah, this is exactly what I pictured in my head. And the addition of the shrimp is quite nice. I feel like an otter eating this. Why? I do not know. When I eat the shrimp, I feel like I'm an otter eating my hot root soup. So it definitely makes you feel like you are some kind of animal in a woodland forest eating your hot root soup. So I would say 10 out of 10. That's pretty successful. Would make again. So yeah, I'm gonna end this here. My camera died, so I'm filming on my phone. If you want to see me make other Redwall recipes, let me know what I should make next. This hot root soup might be joining the dinner rotations. It's really, really good. So, all right, I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.